Well, hey guys, so excited to be with you here. I popped in the office and was just getting some things ready for Sunday and thought, hey, I'd share a little bit about what's going on. So I had to come over. First off, what am I working on over here? Just printing posters. We're going to have those things up. But the important thing is to talk to you about what's going on. If you are not aware, we began something on Sunday we're calling Step in the Gap. And in this idea of Step in the Gap, what we've done is looked at, or I went and asked our key staff leaders and ministry leaders to go and just dream about next year. And more than dream, spend time with God and have the Holy Spirit begin to speak to them about what it is they want to accomplish. So many times as a leader, you try to set the tone, say, "Hey, here's the direction we're going." And this time, I just really felt led to say, "God, you speak through the staff and the leaders that you've given us." And so last week, what we did is we kicked off and we began just sharing with you some of those things just at a really high level. Some of those things that our staff wanted to do. I think I can pull. See if I can pull some of those up right here. Yeah, there we go. So we started talking about a dream to plant 5 new churches and why that's important. Our population in North Carolina has gone from just around 6 million people in 1990 to the 2020 census being about 11.4, 11.5 million. So almost double in those 30 years. While at the same time, you may or may not be aware, we are losing more churches each and every year. And what that means is more churches are closing than churches that are opening. So there's a net loss for churches. And so one of the things that we really felt like God was asking us to do was take an active role in that and plant and help start 5 new churches just next year in 2023. We're going to introduce you next week through some videos. Pastor Doug has spent some time with a couple of the church planners that we want to be able to get behind. Some were already behind, but we want to be able to push them even further down the road in helping them plant those new churches that are there. Let's see, I need to be able to get here. And the other one, mental health being a huge topic. I know some people have shared with me, one person in particular during a prayer time that we were, it's actually during one of Melanie's videos where Melanie was down and we're finding partnerships with area counseling centers. And one person was sharing, "Hey, thanks for doing this," because they had lost a family member to suicide. What we want to be able to do is help people who are feeling desperate or they're feeling anxious or depressed. In addition, marriages that are struggling, or maybe there's some family issues going on. We know that financially there can be a barrier to getting help. And so one of the things we want to be able to do is establish a mental health fund. And we're partnering. Can't wait to talk about some of the partnerships we're forming right now where they're going to make the cost even cheaper so we can help more people. But right now we're trying to help 80 people. We may be able to help even more than that next year. Foreign missions. I shared that our church sponsors over 300 kids with Compassion International in the Dominican. So one of the things we want to do in 2023 is partner with an organization called Love Serves and go down and help build a church in part of that country where the average, that means some people are more and some people are less, but the average that they live on is less than $300 a month. And so we want to do some good down there. Expanding our local partnerships. We have 9 partnerships we have now. We want to be able to expand that. Melanie's been talking with more and more people about how we can grow that and being able to financially fund and send them money, as well as give you information on how you can go and get involved. There are some facility improvements that we want to be able to do. I'm going to talk way more about that on this Sunday, so I'll just kind of let that one go. Families. We're trying to build a family resource, and I'm going to talk a lot about that tomorrow in the message that I've been preparing for that. And then this neighborhood thing, we want to start showing up in neighborhoods. We want to be able to partner with you, the people who come here to Next Level. How can we be involved in helpful ways in your neighborhood? And we've identified being able to do some Easter egg hunts where we provide all the supplies and all the Easter eggs. All you got to do is just host an Easter egg hunt, either in your front yard or in some gathering spot there in your neighborhood. Just let's go to where people are rather than asking them to come to our church. We want to be able to buy a trailer and be able to put all the things in that trailer to host a block party, a grill, tables, chairs, sound system, a bounce house for kids, anything that we can think of that you need to host a block party. We want to be able to purchase those, and then you can just check that trailer out anytime that you want to check it out and host a block party just to be in the neighborhood. I've been thinking about fall pumpkin carving things, and then hopefully next year some of you will step up and say, you know what, I will host a Christmas Eve service for my neighbors in my driveway. We're going to give you all the supplies to be able to do that in a real simple script, and you can just read the Christmas story, pray for your neighbors. I think it's a great way to get into neighborhoods. So that is the plans that we talked about last week, and if you're interested in staying updated on those, you can scan that QR code there, or just go to our website, nextlevelchurch.org/events, click on the Step in the Gap thing, and that will bring you to it. So back to this, this Sunday, we're going to talk about the types of things that God wants us to do that will benefit people here at Next Level, but more importantly to my heart, and probably more important to everyone's heart, that will benefit people who aren't yet here, people that we're trying to reach with the life-giving message of Jesus. And so we're going to zero in on what those things are, and we are going to share with you probably some history about our church that you don't know. Just a couple of things, more than a couple of things. How this church got started, what it was built on, what was the heart behind this church. Who were the people that helped start this church? Our church didn't start that long ago, so we've only been around 18 years, I think, or so. So we're a really new church in our area as well. And I want to share those things with you. And I am personally really excited. I had a hard time, if I'm honest with you, writing this message. I was supposed to be able to, we deliver our messages early and we record them and we kind of evaluate them during the week. And, I was supposed to have done this several days prior. And every time I would get done with the message, I'm like, that's not right. And I would just chuck it and set it aside and rewrite. So the message that I'm doing on Sunday, I think this is version 4 of the message. It kept getting reworked. And I'm like, I really want to be able to say what I feel like God would say to us about the things that we're doing in this area. It is really, really important for us to step into the gap. And if you're like, well, Clay, what do you mean step into the gap? I saw that on the graphic and I'm not quite sure what that means. What it means is this. Let's pull this back up. Let's see here how to get here. It means this. So everything that there's 96 items that we felt like God was asking us to do, and that's $793,000 as we began to put a price tag on it. That's $373,000 more than what our 2020. It's ridiculous. I mean, what we're trying to do is absolutely insane. I will just go ahead and tell you, in man's eyes, it is absolutely impossible. We just can't do this. But the reason that we're doing this is because in the gap, there's a lot that's represented. I mean, you can see some of those things there. Depression, anxiety. I mean, we know that that's there. There's marriages in trouble. We want to be able to help young parents. We keep encountering young parents that they're living here in Charlotte away from their family. They don't have a normal family source to be able to walk them through even the simple things like, how do I potty train my 2-year-old? I'm having trouble. We want to be able to come alongside of them with just helpful information. I mean, not necessarily spiritual things, just helpful things. Middle and high school students, man, they are entering into an age where reality is bent and warped, and what is truth, and all of these things Faith questions. I keep bumping into people who grew up in a church and now they got questions about their faith, and they tried to ask these questions of their Christian friends or at their church, and they basically were told we don't ask those, and they were either kicked out or they left because they're like, look, I just can't buy in, I can't ask these questions. We want to provide environments where people can ask those questions. We've got a growing number of 20-somethings in and around our area, and they've all moved here. In general, I'm making a broad statement, but they've all moved here from somewhere. And we want to be able to provide a place where they can build healthy friendships that can push them towards the goals that they have for their own life. And on the other end of the spectrum, there's people that are retiring that are wondering, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? What am I going to do? So we hope we can answer some of those questions, what our plans are this Sunday. And I would love for you to be a part of what we do this Sunday. And if I can be helpful to you in any way, you just let me know, and I'll see if I can help. Really excited. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.